Alert. Calls for the prosecution of Obama are increasing. Attention, Obama. Fort Leavenworth is calling you for treason. By Voice of Reason, the last great stand. In a post last week discussing what websites like State of the Nation are now referring to as a level of political pandemonium, government chaos, military anarchy, social degeneracy, and international disorder, Barack Obama has caused and continues to cause during his final weeks in office. A high-level source within the Trump transition team is alleged to have made this statement. Quote, "At this rate of feeling, the feeling is Obama will have to face consequences for what he is doing right now. We can take a very close look at him, Valerie Jarrett, John Kerry, and his inner circle to see what they have really been doing," end quote. Given Donald Trump's reversal on his plan to go after Hillary Clinton with a special prosecutor once in office, and given that Obama clearly has the woefully dishonest and corrupt mainstream media at his back, aka the fake news, I have a hard time believing that Barack Obama will face any consequences whatsoever for his actions unless something drastic happens to make Trump reverse course, and as we all know, January 20th hasn't come and gone just yet. With the transition of power still far from over, and far-left groups actively recruiting for people to commit acts of violence on Inauguration Day, perhaps what happens over the next 2 weeks could play a decisive factor in reversing President-elect Trump's decision to go after members of the Obama administration, including the ringleader, Barack Obama. In the following videos, I'm going to review a recent article from State of the Nation titled Abomination, the first banana republic in U.S. history. More specifically, I'm going to examine a statement made that refers to a recent bombshell revelation made by Sheriff Arpaio Mike Zullo with the help of forgery experts on multiple continents who all confirmed that the copy of Barack Obama's long-form birth certificate released by the White House in 2011 was in fact a forgery. In the article from State of the Union, the author writes, quote, "The future President Trump is completely within his authority to repeal every piece of signed legislation by Obama after he reverses each and every executive order that the illegitimate POTUS, President of the United States, illegally signed as in unconstitutionally approved," end quote. To be clear, the author is referring not only to repealing Obamacare and Obama's illegal executive orders, but also referring to the repeal of any and every single bill signed into law by Barack Obama because Obama is an illegitimate president. He's a man who hijacked the most powerful office on earth, has been impersonating an officer of the United States ever since. If you listen to the mainstream media, the birther issue has long since been settled, but for those of us who live in a world of fact, not fiction, the birther issue is no more settled than the issue of climate change is. To prove that, one of the many issues the video below discusses, at least in part, is a birther case that has made its way as high as the Alabama Supreme Court. Hugh McInish and Virgil Goode Jr. versus Jim Bennett, Alabama Secretary of State, in which the plaintiffs asserted that after Obama's campaign somehow managed to submit multiple different versions of Obama's birth certificate, the Secretary of State should have been required to decertify any Alabama votes for the 2012 presidential candidate who did not provide an authenticated birth certificate. Not surprisingly, the Alabama Supreme Court chose to punt the case far from their courtroom rather than address the issue then. That's just the beginning. Make no mistake about it. The now transparent Manchurian candidate Barack Hussein Obama was given an explicit mission, or should we say, direct orders from the CIA's handlers. That mission was to transform the United States of America into a banana republic before the end of his second term. Obama's two administrations were painstakingly pieced together with shills and hacks, lackeys and toadies, to efficiently carry out this mission. As a matter of historical fact, Obama et al. enjoyed wild success in the execution of their Banana Republic project, even though they were stuck with a Republican Congress. How did that happen? And why are all these traitors still in Congress? A Banana Republic is defined by many things, and it seems that Obama hit on them all, with spectacular results. Even with President-elect Trump coming in with his wrecking ball to knock down the abomination, the clock can never be turned back on so much economic destruction and financial breakdown, political pandemonium and government chaos, military anarchy and scientific mayhem, social degeneracy and moral decay, global chaos and international disorder. Truly, Barack Hussein Obama will go down in history as the presidential catastrophe to end all catastrophes. And he cynically continues to wreck and ruin the American Republic right up to his very last day in the Oval Office. What's the point? Obama must be exposed for the naked impostor that he has been. Not to do so only legitimizes his too thoroughly fraudulent terms. When a real phony submits a fake, forged copy of his alleged birth certificate to meet the most basic qualifications to even run for president, their fate is sealed, especially after his first order of business, January 2009, was to officially seal off all of his personal and academic records from the U.S. citizenry. With this clear understanding, the future President Trump is completely within his authority to repeal every piece of signed legislation by Obama, after he reverses each and every executive order that the illegitimate POTUS illegally signed as in unconstitutionally approved. By acting in such a consistently dictatorial manner over 8 long years, Obama essentially became America's first in-your-face tyrant. The unparalleled despotism that he demonstrated time and again has plunged the nation into a full-blown banana republic. Please see the picture dictionary below, the documentary, which will illustrate this extremely unfortunate situation and still devolved state of affairs, including after the videos below. As mentioned in the first video above, in the following video you'll get the full details of the investigation into President Obama's fake birth certificate. The press conference below was first shown on Fox 10 in Phoenix, Arizona, and uploaded on YouTube December 15, 2016. The far left will complain it was Fox News who aired it, so it's therefore not real news, but to anyone who isn't too busy shooting the messenger to hear the message, they'll realize that the birther issue isn't dead by any means, not the way many on the left would have you believe. Below is the full press conference. In the video, the investigators take aim at the media for the way they have characterized their investigation from the beginning. You have continued to mischaracterize this. This was not about where President Obama was born. This was about his birth certificate. That's what Maricopa County Public Information Officer said. Quote, "I didn't want to be the guy that figured everything out. I wanted it to be the clearinghouse," end quote, Zullo said during the press briefing. The second video below is a more condensed version with the press conference focusing primarily on Mike Zullo's findings. The video opens with Sheriff Arpaio announcing that after a 5-year investigation, his investigators have determined that the birth certificate presented by President Barack Obama was a fraudulently created document which has been represented as an official copy of the original certificate. Arpaio says his sheriff's office have been working this case since August 2011 after the Tea Party asked him to investigate. As you'll learn, contrary to what many believe, Arpaio explains that the original intent of the investigation was to investigate the birth certificate to silence the birthers once and for all by proving the birth certificate's authenticity. Fortunately or unfortunately, the reality of the situation did not work out as planned. Arpaio says, quote, "We had to follow the evidence," end quote, while speaking during the press briefing. The lead investigator, Mike Zullo, presents a video I discussed in my video at the beginning, which claims to show the Obama birth certificate has a total of at least 9 points of forgery. 9 points of forgery. He says their team consulted several experts from all across the world, including in Italy, and all agree the birth certificate Obama presented was a fraud. I'll leave a link below for you for this. This was from the last great stand on State of the Nation. There are many embedded videos you should watch because it's very important.